Between client meetings, managing your business, and everyday tasks, who has time to worry about website hosting? With Kinsta's managed WordPress hosting, you don't have to. They handle the technical stuff, delivering lightning-fast load times, enterprise-grade security, and 24/7 365 human-only support. Simply switching to Kinsta could make your site up to 200% faster. Kinsta's custom dashboard makes managing sites easy, with powerful features designed to save you time and effort. Plus, their free expert-led migrations ensure a smooth transition. Ready to see why Kinsta is trusted by thousands of businesses? Get your first month free at kinsta.com. That's KINSTA.com. Kinsta. Simply better hosting.
Taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
All right, HBCU Legends fans, it's Kyle T. Mosley of HBCU Legends on Sports Illustrated, as well as the Black Sports Insiders. Today, we're going to talk about one of the HBCU football head coaches leaving late in the cycle to take on a FBS position. Also, we'll talk about the SWAC tournament as well as the SIAC tournament and the MEAC tournament ahead. Guys, don't forget, follow us at HBCU Legends on X, HBCU Legend on IG, and you can check us out on YouTube as well. All right, let's get into it right now. Before we talk a little bit more about what's happening with Eddie George, don't forget, guys, the NBA season is coming to a close, as well as we're going to have the tournament time coming up as well. So Underdog is one of the apps that we use to be able to get our big plays in, and this basketball season is going to be like none other when you have a chance to get your favorite stars with the scoring and the buckets and the alley-oops and everything else. But Underdog is the leading sports app right now that you can play, and you can play it to be able to win up to 1,000 times your money on Underdog. So it's very easy for you to be able to do. When I go onto the app, when I choose a player, I can be able to choose higher or lower on one of their stats, like let's say their points, assists, rebounds, whatever. Then you have all your favorite leagues other than just the NBA. You have college, you have the MLB that's coming up as well. So you can be able to create all different type of picks as well as mix and match your entries. So when you go to Underdog, play it for at least, I would say around $1, or you could go higher, of course. But if you get everything right, you could be able to win up to 1,000 times your money. So turn $1 into $1,000 just based upon your hoops knowledge. And millions of fans have been doing it. And we've been doing this since early August, October. We've gotten into it a little bit more heavily when the football season was in. But now basketball tournament time, as well as the NBA playoffs are going to be ahead. This is the chance for you to join millions of fans who have won billions of dollars making picks on Underdog. Now, you got to have fun. And this week, I challenge you guys. Take a look at whatever sport that you love, especially these tournaments. Select your player, go higher or lower. I like to do the points. Also, I like to do rebounds as well. So try those stats out based upon the Underdog app. Now, when you go to Underdog, sign up, use the promo code HBCU Legends to unlock a special offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash that you could be able to make on your first deposit. Now, when you join, have fun and use the code HBCU Legends. Claim your special offer today. You heard it from me, Kyle T. Now, you must be 18 years of older or 19 in Alabama or Nebraska and 19 or older in Colorado for some games. You must be 21 or older in Massachusetts as well as Arizona. And you must be present where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Now, if you're concerned about your play, go and call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, you get a chance to call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call 24-HOPE line or 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or just text HOPE-NY. It's the Underdog app. It's fun, it's easy to use, and you can be able to make big earnings in the process. Don't forget, use the code HBCU Legends to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a free pick. So go to underdogfantasy.com and download the app today. All right, Coyote Mosley here, back with HBCU Legends. Underdog app is one of our great sponsors, so check those guys out. The big news today, Eddie George. He's leaving Tennessee State to become the head coach at Bowling Green. Now, what does that mean for the Tigers? They're late in the cycle, and right now we're talking about the last 30-day NCAA transfer portal deal is open, where there's activity already going on. So how will that affect the Tigers recruiting? Not having a head coach in place, but it also helps the Bowling Green recruiting efforts now that they do have Eddie George, the former Heisman Trophy winner, 4-time Pro Bowler, NFL star. He's done a tremendous job turning around the Tennessee State program. But when you look at Eddie George and what he's been able to do and accomplish over the period of time, you have to be able to just applaud him and say a job well done. I kind of take a different approach on this because it does affect and negatively can impact some of the HBCU football psyche. I was talking to a noted retired journalist this morning, and he said, expect more of these type of moves to start happening, where now the FBS programs and Power 4 programs are taking notice of what Deion Sanders has done. And if Eddie George can be able to do something to help turn around that Bowling Green situation, we may have more people jettisoning the HBCU sports world and going into the FBS, not only in football, but also in basketball. Look at what Norfolk State's men's and women's team, with Larry Vickers over the women's and Robert Jones over the men's, programs have been able to do over the past 4 seasons. They're winning not only the MEAC conferences, the tournaments, but they have been pretty good in the NCAA tournament as well. So last year, Robert Jones did have an interview with an FBS Division I program. There's a possibility that could happen again, guys. It's a possibility that Vickers can possibly get an offer or some discussions this off season for programs trying to elevate what they're doing. Of course, he had a tremendous talent in Diamond Johnson, who really is the league over in the MEAC. But also, I think Diamond can do whatever she wants to do, not only from an HBCU side, but I think she has the potential of being a WNBA draft pick. So expect more of our head coaches looking at opportunities outside of HBCUs, but also have a lot of these FBS programs. They got their binoculars on and they're watching what's happening inside of HBCUs as well. But Bowling Green, which is a great FBS, level type of situation for Eddie George. He gets to go up to Ohio. He's originally a Pennsylvania native, Philadelphia native, right? So that gets him closer to home, one state away. And it's a homecoming kind of for Eddie George, who played his collegiate ball with Ohio State, where he won the Heisman Trophy. And his recent success, George has been 24-22 at Tennessee State, where last season they were 9-4, and it earned him the Big South OVC Coach of the Year honors, as well as the team shared the conference title. So they were able to go up to Montana, play them in the NCAA playoff. Didn't do well there, but they were very competitive when they went up there in the freezing cold, where Draylen Ellis led the Tigers, and they gave Montana some angst there. And you got to be able to give Eddie George credit for what he was able to do with his program. I know this year would have been kind of a retooling for him over at Tennessee State. He will lose Ellis, his starting quarterback, who fared very well, did very well at the HBCU Combine as well as the HBCU Legacy Bowl. So what does this mean, and what's the negative impact on HBCU football? Well, I don't know if it's much of a negative, or when you have great talent and people are taking notice of the talent, that's great for HBCU programs. But the problem is the stability of the programs. Of course, HBCU money is not like FBS money. So you saw where Willie Simmons left to go to take the Duke position as the running back coach for one season. Now he's the head coach of FIU, and he's taken over down there in Florida. So he was very strategic about his move in order to position himself to get a FBS Division I head coaching position. So Eddie George, he's done the same thing. He's come out of retirement, took over that Tennessee State program, 5 years, built it up, and now we do know Tennessee State is having some financial issues that they're dealing with at the institution. And that could be one of the reasons why Eddie George also interviewed at the Chicago Bears. He also interviewed with other positions as well. So we can't fault Eddie George for the accepting this role to be able to elevate his positioning out there in the coaching ranks as well, because a guy like Eddie George, he was able to interview for an NFL head coaching position. What if he does well at Bowling Green? What other type of roles could possibly come his way in the future? Could it be another NFL job? You never know at this juncture. Deion Sanders interviewed with Jerry Jones about the possibility of joining the Dallas Cowboys. So those are some of the things that, if you look at success and some of these guys who are going to be very successful over the next couple of years in HBCU football, we will see more people leaving left and right. I'm just, get that in your mind, get that in your spirit. I know it doesn't really sit well, but that is the truth of the matter. If you tell me a Deshaun Jackson, Michael Vick, a Tremaine Jackson, a Sam Shade, a Terrell Buckley, if those guys take over the programs that they're at, do tremendously well, will not someone come knocking on their door? Heck yeah, there will. And it happens each and every year. And some conversations are not always public. Keep that in mind as well. So, Eddie George, congratulations to you. And I think you're going to be a great addition to the Bowling Green family over there. So, let's talk about what's happening. The SIAC crowned 2 new champions yesterday. The women's champion, those guys were the back-to-back champions for the SIAC. That's none other than Miles College. The Lady Bears did a tremendous job defeating Tuskegee, and I was kind of shocked that Tuskegee, they had their men's and their women's program in the finals for the SIAC at their tournament in Atlanta, which was on Morehouse College's campus at Forbes Arena. You know, I got shot out the house, baby. That's my peeps, my alma mater. So the men of Savannah State, they won the tournament as well, and they defeated Tuskegee. So here's the scores for the women. Miles College 68, Tuskegee 54. They're back-to-back champions, second straight year that the Lady Golden Bears were able to win and win at a high level. So congratulations to them. Savannah State, which is the alma mater of Shannon Sharpe, they are now the new 2025 Cricket SIAC basketball tournament champions. And those guys did a great job knocking off Tuskegee 67-66. It was a nail biter that came down to the last seconds, where Savannah State was able to put up and hold off Tuskegee Golden Tigers. So congratulations to those guys. Now, let's turn our attention to the SWAC. The SWAC has put up their seedings for their tournament as well. So let's talk about what's happening with them, and we'll be back in 2 and 2. Okay, this is Kyle T. Mosley back to be able to talk a little bit more about the SWAC. We know the Southern men as well as the Southern women's basketball teams took over the regular season titles for both of those programs. That's the first time we had a clean sweep on both sides of the brackets for the men and the women for one school in quite a while. So congratulations to Southern, as well as congratulations to the Southern Jaguar Lady program that have done tremendously well. You know, they had some challenges. We thought Texas Southern, when they went on their early 11-game win streak, that they were going to be the ones who come out the new powers. But injuries, like I've always said before, are the great equalizers. So the injuries that took place, like with Henderson for Texas Southern, their point guard. She's been in concussion protocol, so they lost some key games down the stretch without her in the lineup. So they're trying to figure this out, and yesterday, unfortunately, a non-contact injury with their other point guard, the backup point guard, I think it was Deja Holmes. And we're still trying to get a status update on what's happening with her. So Texas Southern may be down 2 point guards. They haven't released Henderson from the concussion protocol, but hopefully the tournament tips off on Tuesday in Atlanta, and hopefully that Texas Southern can be able to have her to be able to make it for the trip. So let's talk about the men's and the women's bracket right now. Let's go to the men's first. Well, we have Southern University will be the number 1 seed, followed by Jackson State. Mo Williams and his crew has done a tremendous job this year. They have a SWAC record of 14-4. I recall speaking to Coach Calvin Sampson at the beginning of the season when he hosted Jackson State at U of H. Of course, they couldn't win that game, but he said, Mo Williams, at the end of the year, I promise you, you guys will be talking about Jackson State, and he was correct. Mo Williams had to completely revamp that whole roster this season and get them to this point, and kudos to him for being 14-4. Reggie Theus and Bethune-Cookman, that's another name we haven't talked more about in the men's basketball realm for the SWAC. They're number 3 at 13-5. And then we look at Texas Southern, Johnny Jones, who always does a great job in the tournament. You know, we call him Mr. Tournament down here in Houston with his 3 back-to-back tournament titles that he had before last year. They were upset by Grambling in the tournament. So, but they made it to the championship game. So keep that in mind. Texas Southern at number 4 with a 12-6 record. Then we talk about Alabama State at 12-6. They're the number 5 seed. Alcorn number 6. Florida A&M 7. Grambling 8th. Alabama A&M 9th. And Prairie View, Coach Byron Smith, those guys lost the season finale against Texas Southern just yesterday, but they wrap up the final 2 bids, and they're going to be at number 10. So we're looking at a schedule where the opening round will have Grambling State taking on Alabama A&M. Then at 8:30 that evening, Florida A&M will take on Prairie View. In Game 3, Southern will take on the winner of Game 1. Jackson State will take on the winner of Game 2. And in Game 5, Texas Southern will battle against Alabama State. That will happen on Wednesday. Wow. So they have some time off, Texas Southern. And then Game 6, Bethune-Cookman will take on Alcorn State. In Game 7, the winner of Game 3 will take on the winner of Game 5. In Game 8, the winner of Game 4 will take on the winner of Game 6. And in the championship game, the winner of Game 7 versus the winner of Game 8. And that would take place on March 15th. And it's a late game at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it will be broadcast on ESPNU. So the championship game for the SWAC men will be broadcast on ESPNU. The other games you can find on ESPN+. All right, let's turn our attention to the women of the SWAC. So, of course, we talked about Southern University. They are the number 1 seed at 15-3. Then Texas Southern, wow. Get this, Texas Southern leaps into the number 2 seed. We thought they were going to be at number 3, but I guess the head-to-head point differential made a difference for Texas Southern when they beat Alabama A&M earlier this season. So they claimed the number 2 spot at 14-4. Alabama A&M claimed the number 3 spot at 14-4. That loss to Southern, wow, that was huge. That loss to Jackson State they had early that season was huge for Dawn Thornton and Dawn Thornton and their team at Alabama A&M. So they're number 3. And Jackson State with Coach Richards, they get up to number 4 at 13-5. Grambling State is the number 5 seed. Last year, they made it very competitive to be able to run at Jackson State before Tamika Reed took off. So they're the number 5 seed at 12-6, followed by Alcorn State, number 6 seed at 10-8. Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M, they're both number 7 and number 8 respectively. Mississippi Valley State and Prairie View, they wrap up the number 9 and 10 seed for the tournament. So how's it going to look for the schedule? So I'm glad you asked. Game 1, number 7 Bethune-Cookman takes on Prairie View. Game 2, Florida A&M takes on Mississippi Valley State. In Game 3, Texas Southern will play the winner of Game 1. In Game 4, number 1 Southern will play the winner of Game 2. The next day, Jackson State will take on Grambling State. So Jackson State and Grambling, they have a 2-game resting period, which is kind of strange in some ways, because you would think number 1 and number 2 would get a longer period to be able to rest than number 3 and number 4. We'll see. So I don't know how that worked out, but it is. So Alabama A&M is taking on Alcorn State, and Jackson State will take on Grambling State on March 13th. And then the tournaments will kind of go to the semifinals on March 14th, and the final will be played at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ESPN Plus for the SWAC Women's Championship. All right. So that's how the ladies are faring out, as well as the men for the SWAC. Who will win? Well, I think the favorites for the men has to be either Southern, Jackson State, and I'm going to say it, Texas Southern. Those are the top 3, in my opinion, who could be able to win that game. Texas Southern is regaining their health. They still have some problems inside because Hunter, I think he's still banged up a little bit. But if he's able to come in and play, I know he was held out this last game against Prairie View. Watch out, guys. Those Tigers, Johnny Jones and his staff know how to play the tournament. So, and on the women's side, I'm going to have to think Southern University will be pretty tight. But, again, if Henderson is able to get out of concussion protocol, and if they're able to really use her talent, because if you notice that Prairie View game, Harris in the paint, she did a lot of damage, and she's been trying to get back healthy, and she looked pretty good. But you can't count out Alicia Fantroy for the Texas Southern Tigers as well. She is she's one of those guys that is the spark plug for the team, defensively as well as offensively. So I would say look at the top 4 in the SWAC who will be vying for the SWAC championship. All right. So that is how we see what's happening in those games. So if you have any comments, any thoughts yourself on what you would see or like to see in the games as well, let us know. But basically, I just like the top four in the SWAC women's bracket. So let's turn our attention over to the MEAC. Right now, the MEAC already has their tournament set for this week as well. And we're going to go to the MEAC women's first, where Norfolk State is going to be the host of those two tournaments for the men's as well as the women. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get back after these messages. Guys, don't forget, tune in to HBCU Legends every Wednesday night as well as every Friday evening where we talk about Coaches Speak. This week we're going to be going over
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Some of the late night rounds of what's happening in the MEAC as well as in the SWAC. So don't forget, check us out on HBCU Legends as well as the Black Sports Insiders with me, Kyle T. Mosley, as well as we'll have Wilton Jackson to be able to help out with some of the on-site game announcement, and we may have Keisha Kelly helping out as well. So check us out then. Don't forget, get the mobile fantasy app of Underdog Fantasy, and you can be able to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash just by using the HBCU Legends promo code. So download the app today, sign up using the promo code HBCU Legends to unlock the special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you simply make your first deposit. And also, if you use the promo code HBCU Legends, claim your special offer today and get that bonus cash of $1,000 instantly upon your first deposit. You must be 18 years or older or 19 years or older in Alabama and as well as Nebraska, 19 years in Colorado for some of the games, and 21 plus years of age in Massachusetts as well as Arizona. And you must be present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned about your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call 24/7-HOPE-LINE and 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Don't forget, guys, I'm Kyle T. Mosley. I play the Underdog app. I love it, especially tournament time is here. You can choose your favorite players, your favorite team. You can go higher or lower on one of the stats of your players, or with your teams, you can be able to do a mixed play. So it is very easy and simple to use. One of the fastest growing apps out there in the market, Underdog Fantasy. So go to underdogfantasy.com today and download the app and use our promo code HBCU Legends. All right, Kyle T. Mosley here, back talking about the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, aka the MEAC, where the women, these guys are coming in pairing, and you got the two-time defending conference champions, the Norfolk State Spartans. They will be making their run for immortality. So, and then led by Diamond Johnson. And we know Diamond Johnson, she's no joke, guys. So watch out for Norfolk State. So let's talk about their seedings. Right now, Norfolk State's number 1, of course. And at the number 2 rankings, we're going to be looking at none other than the Lady Bison of the Howard University team. They're at 12-2 for the season. They've played some contentious games against Norfolk State. Could we be seeing those guys again in the championship round? Hey, it's not without question. Then we look at Maryland Eastern Shore at number 3. Then Coppin State number 4. And at the 5th seed, it will be North Carolina Central, where Morgan State comes up at the number 6 seed. Now, what's interesting is Delaware State is at number 7, and let's see here, South Carolina State is at number 8. So they only have the top 8 that's going to be playing in their conferences. So expect the first game on Wednesday that would tip off at Norfolk State, where Norfolk State will play South Carolina State and Howard will play Delaware State. On Thursday, Coppin, I won't say Compton. Why I would say that. Sorry, guys. Coppin State will play North Carolina Central, and Maryland Eastern Shore will battle against Morgan State. On Friday, that's the semifinals, and you'll see those 2 teams. And, of course, I think Norfolk State as well as Howard's going to be a part of those conversations there. And Saturday, March 15th, is the championship game where we will have that tip-off to be going on at 4 p.m. Eastern, and ESPN News is going to be broadcasting that game. All right, so that's on the women's side of the bracket. Let's talk a little bit about the MEAC men and what to expect there from the men. If we can pull this up. There we go. Of course, Norfolk State men are number 1. They had to share the regular season title this season, because if you forget that South Carolina State, they upset the men was it last week sometime? Yeah, they did an upset. So they split the regular season between the 2 of them, but Norfolk State had a better overall differential than South Carolina State, so that's why they get the number 1 seed. So South Carolina State at number 2, Delaware State at number 3. Delaware State has been one of those dangerous teams that you have to pay attention to. I will say it again. Delaware State is dangerous. Watch out for them. Maryland Eastern Shore and Delaware State, those 2 teams have a lot to really give an opponent. So watch how both of those guys play in the MEAC tournament. So, and then we have Howard. They're at number 4. North Carolina Central. Morgan State at number 5. North Carolina Central is number 6. Coppin State at number 7. And Eastern Shore, they wrap up the bracket at number 8. They only have 2-12 on the season in the MEAC. Those guys with the Eagles at Maryland Eastern Shore, but they have been playing very competitive basketball. So I'm not going to say there's going to be any woulda, coulda, shouldas, but my top 3 in this bracket will be, of course, Norfolk, South Carolina State, Delaware State. Leaving out Howard this year. Blake Harper, which is a great talent, that freshman phenom who was spotlighted by Sports Illustrated this past week with the tampering claims that he's the most tampered with male athlete in the portal. So you just don't find guys like him. And I think if Howard's able to keep him in the fold some way, shape, or form, that for next season, that'll be very interesting. I don't anticipate he will stay, but if he does, I applaud Coach Blakeney for being able to keep him in tune with Howard University. So, who do I think will win it all? Favorites, of course, Norfolk State. But when it comes to tournament time, you never know. South Carolina State has been playing some good ball down the stretch. So that's going to be a challenging game if those guys are able to go head-to-head in the finals. So that's what's happening in our HBCU basketball. We got some great news that came out of the HBCU Athletic Conference as well, with Dr. Kiki Barnes-Parker, excuse me, guys. Dr. Kiki Baker-Barnes. I'm confusing her with Jackie Parker, McWilliams Parker. So you guys are confusing. So, Jackie McWilliams is the CIAA commissioner, and she's done a tremendous job. So, get this. Stillman and Philander Smith for the women side will be able to participate in the NAIA Women's Basketball National Championships open round. So, congratulations to them. They have a chance to be able to play. And let's see here. The Tigers, they earned the number 11 seed, and they're going to play Langston Quadrant. And also, they will get a chance to play against, let's see here. The Lady Panthers will get a chance to play against Langston Quadrant. I'm sorry. And also, if they are able to qualify and get through there, then they'll face number 1, Indiana Wesleyan. All right? That's interesting there. So, Stillman and Dillard, the men's side, they get a chance to participate in the NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship. And also, we can't forget, it's not a part of the HBCU Athletic Conference, but Xavier University, I think both the men's and the women's side, they are able to play in the tournament as well. And I believe also Florida Memorial will be playing in that tournament also. So we have, and we can't forget about the program over, they won the Sooners Athletic Conference. We were talking about Langston in Oklahoma, so they would get a chance to play as well. So we got quite a bit HBCU basketball representation in the NCAA as well as the NAIA. So congratulations to you guys. You've done a tremendous job, and we applaud everything that you're doing. Keep up the great work with Dr. Kiki Baker-Barnes over at the HBCU Athletic Conference. All right, so Stephen A. Smith. We know Stephen A. Smith because he's an HBCU alum. He's one of the largest media personalities, he and Shannon Sharpe, out there on the market right now. When you talk about podcasting personalities, of course, those two gentlemen joined up together to be on First Take. They now have Cam Newton on with them, as well as Molly Crerum as well. So, and also other guests kind of come in and rotate from time to time. But we must applaud Stephen A. Smith because he stuck to his guns through this whole negotiation with ESPN, and it's been reported that he has a multi-year deal worth up to $100 million, where he's set to earn 5 years at $20 million per year. Wow. He's number 3 on the list of media personalities right now who are in that conversation. Stephen A. Smith, number 3 in top personalities that are I think they call them the sports broadcaster salaries, where we have number 1 at Fox, Tom Brady, which earns $37.5 million per year. His first season, I think Tom did great. First couple of games, kind of shaky. He kind of got through all of that. And, of course, he called the Super Bowl down in New Orleans, and he did a pretty good job. Number 2 is Charles Barkley, $21 million per year. And, you know, they're making that change from Turner, and they're going to be a part of the new set over at ESPN as well. Then you have Stephen A. Smith at number 3, $20 million a year. Troy Aikman, 18 at $18 million a year for Troy Aikman. I didn't know he was making that much. Then you have Tony Romo at $18 million a year. Those two ex-Cowboys, they're making more money than they made under Jerry Jones. And then you have Pat McAfee at $17 million per year. Then Shaquille O'Neal at $15 million per year. And Joe Buck at $15 million per year. And you have Kyle T. Mosley here at negative $15 million a year. I'm nowhere on the radar, guys. How can I get up there? Well, guys, keep on supporting. We will get there as well. All right. One other part of the news that I'd like to report to you guys, the Magic City Classic is now known as the Amazon Magic City Classic, presented by Coca-Cola. Those guys will kick off on October 25th at Legion Field this year, where Amazon is now taking that title sponsorship role. Congratulations for them to be able to get that set up. You know, the Magic City Classic, as well as the Bayou Classic, for a long time they've been challenging one another for years past, but the Magic City Classic always has at least 60,000 people in those stands. So a lot of people go to that event between Alabama A&M as well as Alabama State every year. So support the Magic City Classic, guys. That is a great one, and congratulations for them able to get the support from Amazon. All right. Let's see. Before we sign off, I think if I had to do a recap of the HBCU Legacy Bowl week, we hadn't been able to talk since then. I would have to say this is a year for Doug Williams and James Shack Harris. They had the HBCU Combine, the career fair, where they had over 110 employers, and some of them made offers on the spot for young people who attended at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in New Orleans, Louisiana. It was a 2-day event, Thursday and Friday, of that HBC Legacy Bowl week. So I applaud them for the efforts, and it was a very, very entertaining seminars that they had for these young people on how to network, how to get your presence out there and make connections. Very, very, very well done. Congratulations to them. And the HBCU Legacy Bowl itself was a great event because, hey, Team Robinson won, but it was entertaining toward the end. We just spoke about Tennessee State's Drillin Edwards. He had a chance to be able to put his team Gaither in position to win, but they eventually lost with a interception at the end of the game. But it was more so that the whole week was just entertaining. The combine, well attended by all 32 teams, had some XFL, CFL. I don't know if we had the European leagues out there, but think about this. Some of these people would have never known the young wide receiver from North Carolina Central who ran a 4.4. Would they have known Irv Mulligan and Rob McDaniel out of Jackson State? Those guys had 20-plus interviews per our source. They had the most interviews of any of the other players. These scouts are now starting to take the HBCU Legacy Bowl seriously. But what we need to still push for is to make sure that the HBCU Legacy Bowl is not just it. Why aren't more of our young people over at the scouting combine? We only had Carson Vincent, the left tackle out of Alabama A&M, who is a tremendous talent. Don't get me wrong, a tremendous talent. But we need to have more. We need to have more that will be represented at the game, at the scouting combine, not just the HBCU combine. Some of those young guys could have been elevated to the scouting combine because some of them ran better numbers at that combine. Okay, so let's turn our attention to the scouting combine. Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter did not participate, but we know they got HBCU blood. Yeah, they got the pedigree. It's in their blood, baby. They're going to be number one draft choices. And the Shedeur Sanders bashing has to end. If you're one of the losing coaches and you're picking in that top half of the draft, that means your team did not win, did not go to the playoffs, and you need a Shedeur Sanders on your team. And if you're a quarterbacks coach and you go secretly leak, oh, he came off brash, he was so arrogant. Is not Aaron Rodgers arrogant? Was not Brett Favre at times arrogant? Tom Brady? But when other guys are arrogant, that's called confidence. It's still confidence because Shedeur Sanders is confident in his ability. Every program he's gone from high school, college, he's elevated the program by his presence, by his accuracy, by his arm, by his intellect. He's a smart player. Cleveland Browns, New York Giants, New York Jets. I think the Jets will be an ideal situation for him. The reason why, because Aaron Glenn, he spoke about this on the Pivot podcast, how a black coach understands these guys a lot better. Aaron Glenn would do a very good job with Shedeur Sanders. And Deion Sanders said it this way: the only reason why they're speaking negatively of you and trying to bash you, they want you to slide. They might slide right into Aaron Glenn's hands. He might slide right there. And wouldn't that be a great pairing in New York City to have Aaron Glenn watching over Shedeur Sanders? I think it'll be great to have. So Travis Hunter, he's a unicorn. He's a one of a kind. He's a generational talent. What's there to think about? What's there to consider? The Heisman Trophy winner, the HBCU kid, the kid who turned down Florida State, flipped over to Jackson State, followed Coach Prime from Jackson State to Colorado, became the Heisman Trophy winner and one of the most important figures in college football. What's there to think about? He needs to be one of the guys drafted in that top 3 slot. No knocks against Cam Ward. No knocks against the young man from Penn State. Travis Hunter is your top dog, baby. Shedeur Sanders is another top dog. Why? Because they win. They're coming from winning programs from high school to college. That's the difference that sets Shedeur Sanders from Jackson Dart and Cam Ward, because he consistently won. Think about it. That first season at Colorado, he had to adapt to a porous offensive line, and they still were able to win, 6 games? But remember, they were shocked. They shocked people like TCU and shocked other people. I'm telling you, you will make a mistake if you don't select Shedeur Sanders or Travis Hunter. All right. And guys, right now, Clinton Portis will join the Delaware State family. He's going to be the running backs coach for Deshaun Jackson. And Michael Vick has assembled a pretty good core group of coaches over at Norfolk State. Howard is going to take on Morehouse again at the 2025 HBCU NY Classic. It's a clash of the foes. Look, Morehouse may not win, but they bring in the people. Last year, over 30,000 again at that classic between Morehouse and Howard University. That's a good one, guys. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of entertaining. I think we had the first year when I was there for the inaugural game, over 8,000 people just outside. And I saw people from FAMU. I saw people from Bethune-Cookman. I saw people from other HBCUs that just was there hanging out and supporting the event, tailgating. Think about that. There's a new podcast brought on and executive produced by our guy Ray Rogers, who's a part of the Black Sports Insiders. It's going to be the 700 Park Avenue podcast, where 3 Norfolk State alums and football alums, a couple of those guys have NFL experience. They will be on that podcast. Check them out. They debut this week coming up. So they're going to be talking from an insider point of view of what's happening with Coach Vick and his era at Norfolk State. So that'll be Don Carey, Justin Smith, and Lyndon Trail. Check those guys out. They'll be a part of the HBCU Pass platform. All right, I'm Kyle T. Mosley of HBCU Legends on Sports Illustrated. Follow us on X at HBCU Legends. You can also follow us at Instagram on HBCU Legend without the S. And HBCU Legends on YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel, like, and subscribe. Follow, share, do everything you can. But also you can find all of my writings on HBCU Legends on Sports Illustrated. So go to hbculegends.net. It'll take you directly to our Sports Illustrated site, and you can read up on all of the latest HBCU news. And also we have a newsletter, guys. Don't forget to follow up and sign up for that as well. I'm going to leave you with this. Stay true to yourself. Keep grinding. And always be tenacious. I'm Kyle T. Mosley. You guys have a great week ahead. And Eddie George, congratulations. Take care.
O'Reilly.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.